Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, Gleeking is back, baby. It's good again.
Also, sorry, NBA. Caitlin Clark is too famous for you.
All that and more on the way next.
All right, well, the Super Bowl's coming up, Hudson, and as predicted, those ads for the Super Bowl are never cheap.
No, yeah, that's a pretty penny. You got to pay to get in front of all those people.
Yeah, do you have any, guesstimates? I think you probably already saw the number, but...
Well, I would have had no absolute idea until I saw this, but now I do know that they've got... I almost feel like I would have guessed way higher, so it's good that I just saw what the actual number is, which multiple spots, we call them in the industry, multiple commercial slots, more than $8 million each.
Yeah, it's insane that a 30-second Super Bowl commercial reportedly cost $7 million, and that was for last year.
Okay.
And it has already gone up to $8 million for 2025, which obviously all of those are already sold out.
Yeah.
They were sold out months ago when there was a quarter one earnings report that was done last November. So 4 months before the Super Bowl, they were already sold out then. And I would imagine with the way the Super Bowl is, the way these commercials are coveted and just so expected year after year to be so good, that these get sold out, quickly. I would think businesses would try and get in on them as quickly as they can.
Well, especially when you think, how many people watched last year's Super Bowl and how big that was. And then you could promise to investors like, hey, or to people possibly thinking about buying ads like, hey, remember, we're going to make sure Taylor Swift's in the Super Bowl again. So, it's really going to be worth a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. But do you think I keep saying investors, the companies that bought ad time, do you think they are, because they bought it well before you could know the Super Bowl matchup. Mm-hmm. Do you think they're excited that it is Eagles Chiefs from their perspective, or are they disappointed? I don't think on their return on investment.
I don't think they are at all. I don't think any matchup probably would have swayed them entirely. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I'm sure they're not mad that Swifties will now be tuning into the Super Bowl, because that adds a whole new component of people that are going to potentially buy their stuff that they're advertising. So I'm sure they're not upset by that fact. Yeah,
and the Eagles are a pretty high-profile, prominent team too. I don't know, if it was the Lions, that still would have been a big draw because they've never won,
right?
And whatever. But the Eagles, and then the Commanders would have been so exciting because of Jaden Daniels. So you just can't go wrong buying Super Bowl ad time. I feel like it's never a bad investment if you have the money for it.
And no matter who ends up in that game, whether it was Chiefs, Eagles, or two teams that had never won the Super Bowl before, that game is still going to be the most watched televised event the entire year.
Yeah. So we've already seen, this is a trend from recent years, that companies will drop their Super Bowl ads on YouTube and socials well before the Super Bowl. Have you been watching those?
I did just go ahead and watch the one from Hellman's.
No, you didn't.
I did, because I was, researching this article here about the whole price jump, I guess, if you want to call it that, for the ads for the Super Bowl. And they were mentioning how that one's already out, which that one is a 60-second. So did that one cost $16 million?
Yeah, you would think.
And you
Who
also
has an attention span for that these days?
Well, it's very good. But also, you have to think about this, Hudson. You're paying that potentially $16 million for the 60 seconds
and that's
to
just
Fox.
To have a spot.
That's just the spot. That doesn't include the cost of the two actors, which I'm not going to mention, are in this ad.
Okay. You don't want to spoil it?
I don't want to spoil it. I think it's a great commercial.
That's why I don't want to watch any of the ads, but that's one of the reasons why I don't want to I don't want them spoiled for me. But also, I'm not going to watch a commercial on YouTube. I literally hit the skip ad button every time I get the chance. I'm not going to go on there and see what Uber Eats is up to.
Yeah.
Which also, the other thing that bothers me about the Super Bowl is if you've been watching the games leading up to the Super Bowl, there'll be ads that are literally trailers for their future ad. And I'm like, you got to get a hold of yourself.
Didn't you remember State Farm did a huge deal with that last year with, who was it? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Uh-huh.
Remember he went on like I think Jimmy Fallon or something like that. And he's like, I got a new movie coming out. And he plays it. And it's just a tiny, tiny clip from the State Farm commercial.
Yeah.
So they're getting a little extreme with these.
They're
for
getting creative, but also I'm not going to get excited about ads. We don't even play ads here on Radio U.
Yeah, for good reason.
So it really would be off brand for me to be like, yeah, I can't wait for all the Super Bowl commercials. I hate them. Sometimes
You hate them?
They're better than your average everyday commercial.
I was going to say, they're so much better than what we get on an everyday basis.
But wouldn't we be better if they didn't exist?
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. There's so many that I'm like, I'm so glad I saw that.
I'd rather it's like if you watch an NBA game on FanDuel or whatever, where they don't show commercials at all and it's just like whatever's going on in the stadium, which is also annoying to watch. But it's better than ads.
That's not what, or if I guess, I don't know what FanDuel you're watching, but FanDuel Sports Network doesn't do that.
Yeah, they'll show like the DJ and the Kiss Cam and whatever. You never seen that?
Nope.
Wow. I'm surprised. Well, this is super disappointing, to me anyways, that Caitlin Clark, the biggest star in the WNBA, apparently will not be participating in the NBA All-Star Weekend 3-point contest this year, which is coming up here in just a few weeks. She says, at least according to her representatives, that she wants her first 3-point contest to be at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis this summer. But we all want it to be this coming NBA All-Star Weekend. Don't we, folks?
Yeah, I was really sad to see this because last year the NBA introduced something which I thought was actually pretty neat, and that was an NBA versus WNBA 3-point contest, and they did it with Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu, I think
it's Ionescu.
Ionescu, who plays for the New York Liberty.
Yeah.
And she, holds a bunch of records for them now because she's an amazing 3-point shooter. And it was really, really fun. It was a really close battle, even though Steph Curry did end up winning. So I don't want people to think, oh, yeah, the NBA has the advantage here. Because 3-point shooting, is pretty level playing field, I would say, no matter, men or women or whatever. And she was still shooting with WNBA basketballs or no, I think she did shoot with NBA basketballs. Anyways, that doesn't matter. But what I'm just saying is I thought it was a really interesting and fun concept to kind of incorporate the WNBA into this NBA All-Star Weekend. I thought it was really fun. So I'm really sad that Caitlin Clark turned this down.
Super disappointing.
But also I think it makes sense. I mean, Indianapolis is hosting the WNBA All-Star Weekend, so I understand why she wants that to be, the first time she does it for that home crowd,
I don't think her participating in the NBA one, though, would diminish anything about her participating in the WNBA one.
Yeah.
But I think the NBA would still like to have a women's player and recreate that contest. Last year's, like you mentioned, Sabrina Ionescu, she is not going to be able to do it this year either, because she's playing in Unrivaled at the time.
No, she said she's going to be.
She is going to do it.
Yeah, she said she already told Unrivaled that she will be out during the NBA All-Star
I thought it was
weekend.
the opposite.
No,
that's awesome.
She's planning to do it. What she was trying to do was she was trying to make it a tag team event with Steph Curry and her again in it, and then also adding Klay Thompson and Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, why would Caitlin Clark not want to do that?
Well, to me, okay, here's the thing. I hate that she said no to this because I love the NBA All-Star Weekend and I would have loved to see her at it because I think she would do an amazing job and would bring so many, viewers to it. But to me, what this shows is how big she is because she said no to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty huge.
Yeah, like she is the type of level of player that has so much success, so many fans that it's okay for her to say no,
Yeah. At the same time, though, is she like doing Unrivaled?
She's not.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, if she's so big, why haven't I heard of her doing Unrivaled? Because she's not doing it.
She's not. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She literally says no to stuff all the time because she doesn't need to do it. She's Caitlin Clark.
Man.
It doesn't ruin her image at all.
I hope I get to be like that one day.
Right.
Hope I can say no to things. You know who's got to be the most upset about this, though? and in all honesty, the NBA.
Right. They probably were salivating.
Quite frankly, the dunk contest is in its flop era, and it has been for about 20 years, I think.
Yeah, Mac McClung's going to be doing it for the 20th time.
Yeah, but I remember last year, I did tune in for some of the dunks and the rest of the skills competition, and the only thing that's memorable is the Steph Curry versus Sabrina contest.
Yep.
But quite frankly, as much as Sabrina Ionescu, great, I'm not going to probably tune in to watch a rehash of that. Sorry to her and Steph and whoever, but that's like...
You mean you're not going to tune in for the new tournament style game?
I don't even know. What do you mean, the NBA All-Star game?
Yeah, they've turned it into the 4 teams with the tournament.
I forgot they were doing that, and I do not care. I do not care that... if you want me to get to watch the NBA actual All-Star game, you know what you need to do? Get Caitlin Clark in it.
Get Caitlin Clark.
At least Angel Reese.
Well, Hudson, there's a new horror movie coming out about vampires.
Oh, boy, my favorite.
I'm loving this tour that we have had recently, this great revival, if you will, of the scary vampire.
Vampires are back.
Vampires are back, but not just back. They're back in a way that makes them scary again. Because they got a little not scary for a while there.
You didn't think True Blood was scary?
Not really, but True Blood was better than like Twilight or like the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, the sexy vampires.
It still wasn't scary in the way that what we've gotten recently with Nosferatu, and then now this new Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler flick that's coming out called Sinners.
Yeah, I was watching the trailer. I've seen a lot of people talking about this too, and it's Michael B. Jordan. Yep, obviously a huge actor. And then Ryan Coogler is in charge of it, like directing, and I think he helped write it. And he, of course, did Black Panther and Creed. Yep. So a huge name there as well. So a lot of cachet in this movie. And then the trailer, it looks pretty awesome.
It looks pretty good. I also love, I'm a history buff, so I do love that it's kind of like a historical, drama as far as like a period piece. Yeah. Obviously, it's not based on any real events or real people because it's vampires, but it is taking place in what looks to be, I think, the early 1900s, maybe like 19-teens, 1920s, and maybe like Prohibition era, because it looks like they're kind of doing some speakeasy type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, I thought that too. I couldn't put my finger on exactly when it's exactly set. But when I was watching this, it really reminded me, and I thought for a minute, is this based off of like when blues was first getting started? One of the most famous names in blues is Robert Johnson, who it was the story with him, he supposedly sold his soul to the devil back at and he died at 23 or whatever, but made some of the most amazing blues music that was ever heard way, way back in time. And so I was wondering, is this supposed to be borrowing off of that story? Maybe. I don't think so. Maybe very loosely based off of it. But obviously this isn't real life at all. So
No. But I am excited to check this out. And what made me want to talk about this with you, Hudson, was our very own Nene, who is not a horror fan at all, doesn't want to watch anything scary. He brought this trailer up to me.
Really?
So he had seen it, and he told me he's planning to watch this film. I was shocked when he told me that.
That is surprising, but from this trailer, it's hard to tell if it'll be really scary. Yeah. It looks bloody and whatever, but it also looks very dark, as in not a lot of light. So going to be hard to even see what is going on if there are scary things. Right. But some people are afraid of the dark, so maybe that makes it scarier.
Yeah, I mean, Nosferatu was a very dark film, both in content and also filming. So, yeah, I think that can be a great utilization in horror films often, using the light and the dark against people and making them fearful of, what can I not see right now, or I just barely see something. But I do think that it'll be an interesting film, but like you said, I feel like it might be less scary, more thriller-esque, but still, I'm excited to check it out.
What is it with you and always bringing trailers to the show where one person plays two people in the movie?
Oh, is there a situation
Michael
with that?
B. Jordan plays twins, is what it says right here. It's hard to even pick up on that from But that's what it says in the description.
Really?
I wouldn't have even caught that from watching the trailer.
No, they
but
do
apparently
a really.
He plays two people.
They do a good job at masking that, but that makes sense. Yeah, he does play twin brothers. So because there are twin brothers in the film.
Do they do it? Do they do a good job of masking that, or not a very good job of making that clear that he's the same person? That it's two different people.
Maybe if you're watching it on not your like little, because I watched it on my phone. So maybe if you're not watching on a tiny little screen, you'll be able to check it out more and see that it's actually Michael B. Jordan and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
But they pulled it off well, in my opinion, because at one point in the film, they're like helping each other out, like limping away together.
I don't know how they did that.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
When you play two characters in a movie, can you get nominated for an Oscar for only one of them?
Good question. Can he get both?
Or could he get
Best
nominated
actor
for both?
and supporting?
Yesterday, well, I guess first I should say, if you haven't seen yet on our RadioU socials, we have a brand new vehicle, the RadioU Jeep.
Yep.
It's not as, it's tough. The old vehicle we had was a Yukon.
Yeah.
And so it made it so much sense to call it the Radio Yukon. Now we don't, the Jeep, it doesn't really have a name. We're just
RadioU Eep.
Yeah. That's a stretch. A stretch. I think is it a Grand Cherokee?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It needs a name. Do you think it needs a name?
Sure. I have a name for my car. I've got a red Dodge Journey, and it's called Clifford the Big Red Dodge. So
that's clever.
I'm a big fan of car names.
I've never named any of my cars.
Really?
No, I just call them by their names.
I used to have
by their the Jeep or the Lincoln.
I used to have a silver van, like a Grand a Grand Caravan, and it was named Vicky Van Halen.
Wow. Wow. You put a lot of thought into that. So we got the brand new Jeep. You need to see it.
Yeah.
And suggest a name for it, post it up on the RadioU socials. And then you and Nene took it out yesterday for a spin.
Yep.
And you went filming and stuff. And I feel like that didn't go according to plan based off of what you were telling me.
Well, so Nene had a really great idea for us to film at this location, but I didn't know about the idea until we got there, until we were driving there, and then he was telling me.
Was it supposed to be a surprise?
No, but he was like waiting to hear back from a friend on a recommendation, I think.
Okay.
And so I don't know how soon that recommendation came in. But anyways.
Not soon enough.
I didn't know exactly what we were doing, but we ended up going to this location, and there was like a mountain. It's not a mountain, but like a hill that we were supposed to climb to go to like the top to film this video. And I was not wearing the proper attire to do this.
Yeah.
I was in a jumpsuit. And I was wearing like clogs.
Oh my gosh.
That are like Birkenstock clogs.
Yeah.
And then then there's like snow on the trail. And so we start walking this trail, and I told Nene, I was like, Nene, I can't do this. And I made him turn around.
Oh, that sounds like almost like a date. Like I've been on dates that went that way. Where I have all these great ideas in mind, all this ambition, and then you realize that you've just bit off more than you can chew.
Oh, you should have seen poor Nene standing up on that trail carrying the tripod over his shoulder. He looked so devastated. I felt so sad. I felt so I hate disappointing people.
Yeah, but I don't want you to blame yourself, though. It's not your fault, Maddie. I don't want you to blame yourself. Nene didn't prepare you. And it's not like it was supposed to be a surprise. Like it'd be one thing. It was like, you got to see this view. I don't want to spoil it. But it wasn't a surprise. It was just like, yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Didn't think you needed to know.
Well, it ended up being fine after all. We found a different place to film, so it was all good in the end. But yeah, I did not make it up the hill.
I mean, I guess if we didn't tell this story, probably nobody would know. Like, whatever, I'm sure the finished product turned out fine.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't what Nene had in mind. Mm-hmm. It was, listen, everybody should just go follow the RadioU socials at RadioU Official on Instagram. You'll definitely see stuff up on there with the new Jeep and the other stuff you guys were working on yesterday. TikTok, where a trend has circled back around on TikTok yet again. Have you ever heard of Gleeking, Allie?
I have not.
You've never heard of Gleeking? Mm-mm. I guess when you were in school, that was in like you went to school in Africa most of the time, right?
Yep.
I think that's when Gleeking like gets popular, like around like 5th grade, maybe.
Okay.
And then, but what's happened is this is legitimately like the second or third time I've seen this come back around, years divided on TikTok, where people will discover Gleeking again. Gleeking, I kid you not, is the ability to force to like shoot saliva out of the glands under your tongue. Then you can do that on command. You
On command?
Yeah, people can do that on command. According to The Guardian, 1% of people are able to gleek on command. I don't believe that. I believe it's much higher.
1%.
Because so many people on TikTok you see doing it, and I can't exactly do it on command. I can make myself do it, but not like consistently, you know? And I feel like that's what most people, like if they really practice, they probably would be able to make themselves do it. And so what people are doing on TikTok is gleeking, literally where you can like taking videos of themselves shooting saliva out of their mouths under their tongue like they're some kind of, I don't know.
I'm sorry, I can't watch this.
It's not that bad.
Nope, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do
What's
it.
so gross about it?
I don't know.
It's the human body.
I don't know. There's something that just makes me feel icky.
I love the instructions on how to gleek. I have them here if you'd like to hear.
I don't know if I do, but okay.
Step one, stimulate the lingual frenulum, the floppy part of the tongue, like underneath, with the tip of your tongue repeatedly in a bouncing motion. So you're supposed to like stick your tongue down.
Are you trying to do it right now? Hudson, I am across from you right now.
I don't want to get saliva everywhere. After you do that, lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth, exposing the underside, and still saliva shoots out. Yeah, like what you have to do to get it is like you got to like stick your tongue up to the top.
Stop trying to do it.
Why? You're far away. It's not going to hit you or anything. I don't understand why this bothers you so much.
It's saliva from your mouth.
But I'm
flying out.
I'm not going to shoot it at you.
Well, then why are you trying to do it?
I'm not trying to do it. I'm just showing you how. I'm showing you how you would do it.
Exactly right. You were showing me how to do it.
But I didn't do it.
Oh my goodness.
All my saliva is safely in my saliva glands. And if you want to impress people on TikTok and online, this is what you need to do. You need to show yourself gleeking.
I'm not doing that.
This is, I'll do anything for attention, for followers, for likes.
Yeah, I was going to say, for you should definitely post a video of you.
Yeah,
You're trying to
I got to practice for a while. But I don't believe what The Guardian says. I don't believe that only 1% of people can do it. I think we all have the power to gleek within us if we just put your mind to it.
The power to gleek.
So if you want to, yet again, if you want to go popular online or be really popular in like middle school, start gleeking.
I think I'd
Teach yourself
prefer to be unpopular.
Like Skillet. Allie, you know this, right? That Utah has its own NHL team that started playing this year.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
Nope.
Utah has its own NHL team that started playing this year.
Wow, I'm shocked.
NHL stands for National Hockey League. It's like the pro hockey league.
Okay, well, Hudson, you don't need to explain that part to me. I just don't watch the NHL.
Yeah, they've got a new team in Utah. Used to be in Phoenix, in Arizona, but they moved. They've been trying to decide what to name it.
Oh, they haven't named it yet.
They haven't named it. This year, temporarily, much reminiscent of the Washington Commanders, Washington football team situation. This year, they've been calling it the Utah Hockey Club.
Okay.
They just yesterday revealed the 3 finalists for what the Utah Hockey Club will be known as starting next season. Before I get to the 3 current finalists, I'll tell you what the 6 semifinalists were. It was between Utah Blizzard, Utah Hockey Club, Utah Mammoth, Utah Outlaws, Utah Venom, and Utah Yeti. They just revealed the 3 finalists yesterday. They're Utah Hockey Club, Utah Mammoth, and Utah Wasatch.
Oh, the Wasatch wasn't even on the...
No, it wasn't.
The list. What?
They had 6 finalists. Only 2 were good enough to make it in, or to semifinals. Only 2 were good enough to become finalists. And out of nowhere comes Wasatch.
Well, I understand
you know what a Wasatch is?
I don't know what Wasatch is, but I'm sad they didn't go with the Yeti one because that would have been fun. But I also understand why, because Yeti is like a brand, so they probably can't get that.
Apparently, Utah's hockey team and Yeti, like the brand, could not come to an agreement. And so if the Utah hockey team winds up getting a dumb name, blame Yeti coolers and cups. Which it seems like it has a 2 in 3 chance of getting a dumb name, right?
I mean, I wouldn't be upset with the Mammoth one.
I know Mammoth is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Hockey Club's
boring.
If you name your team the Utah Hockey Club, they should be kicked out of the league.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the vibe of the NHL.
Yeah, it doesn't fit it's a soccer name. And in America, that's not how we do things. And then Wasatch, nobody even knows what that is. I looked it up.
Yeah, what is it?
Wasatch is a region of mountains in Utah.
Oh.
And so they'd be naming it
after mountains.
After mountains. That'd be like, we're the Cleveland Eries. Or, like.
I mean, that's not a horrible name.
It's pretty bad. I think a lot of people wouldn't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, most people
Wasatch.
not from Wasatch. Yes, sorry, I thought you were meaning
Let's
Erie.
go Wasatch. Yeah, I'm starting to talk myself into it a little. I mean, it's better than Hockey Club.
Yeah, it's better than Hockey Club, but I think we all know out of the 3 that are there, Mammoth is the best.
It's absolutely the best.
Yeah.
Supposedly, many of the names that have been put forth that sound halfway decent have all run into trademark issues for some reason or another. And so this is life in 2025. Anything that doesn't sound stupid has already been
claimed.
So what they could do, to me, is do what like apps always seem to do now, and just like, well, if Yeti is taken or Utah Blizzard, you can't use that. We'll make it Utah BLZRD.
Oh yeah,
that might still be open.
Take out
all the vowels.
The vowels, yeah. I mean, yeah, but I feel like that would also be dumb and just like also be made fun of.
There's probably an app that has that already anyways.
Yeah, for sure. So I think they should just go with Mammoth.
Utah Mammoth.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll find out. They're having the fans vote on this again now for the next 4 games. I'm sure we'll find out once the fans resoundingly choose Mammoth because it's the one that doesn't sound stupid. That's also probably copyright infringement in some way.
I hope not.
Yeah.
That one better be
stuck with Utah
fine.
Hockey Club, which also could be, like I'm reading here, even that is not free from possible trademark issues because there's other hockey clubs that have been in Utah before.
Right.
So they might not be able to name it anything.
They're just Utah.
Yeah. I don't even know if they can name it that. They may just have to go nameless. Just can't believe. Like, can you imagine? I don't know how soccer fans do it. Going to a game and just being like, "Go Hockey Club."
I mean, that's what people are doing, clearly.
Yeah. Fired or hired on the Hudson Show. Whenever you run into workplace issues that you need some help with, the RadioU audience is ready at 877-2-RADIO-U, and so are Allie and I. This one, simple but open-ended. We have someone who says, I have a coworker I really wish would leave the company.
Oh, no.
However, there are no signs of her leaving her current position. So I've been scheming ways to get rid of her.
Oh, my goodness.
Do you think it would be wrong for me to help her find a new job at another company? I'm not concerned that she gets promoted or earns more than me. I just want her out of my life. Is it wrong to try to start sending your coworker job situations that might be opening, things of that nature, mentioning things, going on and on? Would that be wrong? And if not, how would you go about it?
I've never found myself in this situation, so I'm not sure.
I like the creativity here. This is not something I feel like I would have thought of if I was dealing with a difficult coworker. So I like thinking outside of the box a little bit. 877-2-RADIO-U. Is it wrong to try to get your coworker that you don't like to go to accept another job somewhere else, to start feeding them job offers? And if not, like, you got any tips? Any ideas? 877-2-RADIO-U. Let's try to get some help here in this fired or hired situation. We want to hear from you. 877-2-RADIO-U. I like what Shrew said. Shrew said it's significantly better than making it a hostile workplace. This is ultimately the coworker's decision in the end. So as long as they don't tell you to back off, I think it's fine. Especially if it results in them making more or being happier. It could be a win-win.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
They go away, make more money, have a job they like more, and you in turn like your job better because you don't have to deal with whatever this lady is.
Yep.
Regina said, tread very carefully so it doesn't come back to bite you in the behind. If it's her performance is not as good, definitely bring it to the attention of your manager. I had a coworker like this that would just cause issues to no end because she was checked out and didn't care anymore. Eventually, after years, it finally took care of itself, and she was displaced a while ago. But that was just from doing the right thing and bringing it to the attention of my managers.
Yeah.
But if it's not her performance and it's just her personality, none of that applies, I suppose.
None of that applies. We are not really given any detail about exactly why she's so unlikable.
Yeah, we don't. It's really. I feel like if there was anything concrete, they might have mentioned it. You know,
right? Yeah.
Instead, it seems that it's just like I just really don't like
this person,
which is
rubs me the wrong way.
Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that happens. I will say, for me, I feel like. Is it wrong? I guess not. You know, you could send some positions or whatever to them and be like, hey, have you thought about this? Or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You would be really good at this job. You know, some type of, leading in that way. But also I feel personally like it might be a good idea for you to try to get to know this person better and try and think of them in a different way than how you currently do. Maybe redeem the relationship versus trying to sabotage and get this person removed from your life. I mean, if this person is truly toxic, which again, we don't know, then yeah, sure, you may not want to hang out with them or spend any time with them. But if it's more just like you really aren't even trying, maybe give it a shot.
Allie's saying maybe you are the problem.
I'm not trying to say that, but I just feel like sometimes we do cut people out a little bit earlier than we should. We judge them earlier than we should. So it's important to truly try and get to know somebody. We're all human. We all make mistakes, and sometimes our first impressions can be really bad.
That's true. I think if you're sending the way to try to get somebody to apply for another job, you're either going to be heavy-handed or you're running a real big risk if she's just not motivated to do that.
True.
Like even if you're like the casual way to go about it would be, I saw that whoever is hiring for whatever. But if she doesn't actually want another job, she's fairly happy, then she's not going to go through the hassle even if you mention it over and over about all these other lucrative offers that are out there.
Yeah, probably not.
That's going to start to make you look like you're always looking for jobs.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
And come back to bite you, like Regina mentioned. But then if you're sending her stuff, that's obviously going to be very heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's trying to send a message. I like Megan's approach. She says, have you tried being aggressively supportive of every tiny frustration she has? Like, I totally see why this place isn't the best fit for you. Maybe she'll start believing it herself. And so you just really agree every time she complains about something at the workplace. Yeah. Until like, she's like, wow, like, yeah, this place really sucks, and leaves herself.
I mean, sure. Again, I feel like these are all just like very underhanded, like not really, I don't know. I wish that this relationship could be better. I want to be the therapist in this situation.
Yeah. I feel like also you could just go to another job.
That's true.
That is another thing.
You could remove yourself from the equation.
Yeah, maybe think about that. I know that's a lot of hassle on your part, but if you're going to be looking at jobs either way, whether to mention to them or send to them, or you could just look for yourself, and maybe you'll wind up making more money and being happier and not having to deal with this lady. The problem is you may find that lady at your new job. So keep that in mind too.
Yep.
Allie, I know you're a big baseball fan. Have you ever played MLB The Show?
Way back in the day, not any recent ones.
Oh, okay. It's probably changed a lot since then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yesterday it was announced the cover athletes, the baseball players that'll be on the cover of MLB The Show 2025, which I don't even know what that means anymore. Cover athletes, like nobody buys an actual physical version of a game anymore, do they?
I mean, I'm not sure.
So what does it really matter who's on the cover when it's just like the little card that shows up on your, among all your other digital games? Nevertheless, they've decided to choose 3 guys to be the cover athletes for MLB The Show 2025. 3 young stars in baseball. Ellie De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds, Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles and Paul Skeens, of course, of the Pittsburgh Pirates will share the cover of MLB The Show. But it's interesting. Last night, Paul Skeens was on the Late Show with the Late Night with Seth Meyers. He was asked about the game, and he said he's not going to play it.
He's not going to play it?
He said he's not going to play it. He says, this is the quote, I'll probably go in, get my card, then log back out. I'm not a video game guy. He says, I'm terrible. I don't have the finger dexterity to press the right buttons at the right time. So I just don't.
Finger dexterity? He's a pitcher.
I know, that's right. What I'm thinking, like, aren't you throwing like curve balls and screw balls and fast balls and
fastball? I mean,
you gotta have your fingers all placed all kinds of ways.
I'm not shocked by him saying he's not a big video game person. Like, that's fine. No, there's plenty of people that aren't. I'm not. And but the finger dexterity comment's a little odd in his position.
I would think he'd have really good finger dexterity.
Yeah, you would think.
But he's not going to be playing. The show comes out this year on March, I think it's at 18th. But this is important to note, at least to me, is that the show will not, although it'll be launching on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch on March 18th, this year it will not be on gameplay subscription services, it says.
Oh.
And I, in recent years, have always gotten the show, and I play the heck out of it every year because of it's on Game Pass on Xbox, but it's not on there. I'm not going to pay for it. And it's probably for the best because it really just winds up making me mad. Over and over and over. Because I'm like Paul Skeens, I don't have the finger dexterity. I suck at it.
Yeah.
But it's addicting. I just can't get enough.
I did hear that the last one was like a really hard one to get the handle on it or whatever for them to hit home runs.
It's one thing to play it like against a computer, but I get no enjoyment out of beating a computer in games anymore. I want to beat other people online. And at most video games, particularly the show, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I put myself through the torture all the time.
Right. Well, you don't have the time to get good at one of those games. And a lot of the people you're playing, like you said earlier, are probably 12-year-old boys who do have the time to get good at something.
You're right. They're just losers that have spent more time playing than me. They have less going on.
They did beat you, though.
They don't have like a car and a hot wife and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I'm the better one.
Exactly.
Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.